So this is going to be our circles part 2 stuff. Okay, there are 2 different things that you have to look for when you are solving for circle problems. Whether or not we're solving for pieces of a segment or solving for arcs and angles. Okay, so we're going to start with segments. So you have your circle. What is this segment called? Whoops. What is this segment called? A chord. Good. So we have 2 chords. Okay. So if you are looking for a piece of the chord, so you're looking for a segment, here is your general formula. MV, which is this piece, times VT, which is this piece. So they're on the same chord. Okay, it's the piece times the piece. Equals SV times VU, the piece times the piece. Okay, so it's piece times piece equals piece times piece. So if I give you those values, we should be able to plug everything in. Okay, it's the piece times the piece equals the piece times the piece. So 12 times 10 equals what? 8 times x. Okay, which is 120 equals 8x, and then x equals 15. Once you have it set up, the equation should not be difficult to solve. But if you can't set it up, then it makes it difficult to solve. Are we okay with that? Okay. Next one. What is this segment called? What is this segment? A secant. Okay, if it cuts the circle twice and extends out past the circle, it is a secant. Okay, so both of those are secants. Here's our general form. CB, which is the outside piece of the secant, times that entire secant. So it's the outside times the whole. Okay, that's going to equal the outside piece of the other one times the whole thing. So again, outside times whole. So let's set up our equation. I'm going to start with this one down here so we can help ourselves for the top one. Okay, so it's the outside piece. What's the outside piece of the bottom secant? 10. And what is the length of the whole thing? 27, right? You added those together. Agreed? Okay, now let's look at the top secant. What's the outside piece? 9. What's the length of the whole thing? 9 plus x. You add it together. We can solve from there. So 81 plus 9x equals 270. 9x equals 189. X equals 21. Okay, so far we've done 2 where we're dealing with pieces of segments. Here's our last one with pieces of segments. So I have another secant. And what's that line? A tangent. Okay. So the formula for this one is the outside piece of the secant, just like above, times the entire secant. So the outside piece of the secant times the entire thing equals the tangent squared. So the outside times the whole equals the tangent squared. What's the outside piece of the secant? 18. And what's the length of the whole secant? 18 plus x. And the tangent is 30, so 30 squared. So 324 plus 18x equals 900. 18x equals 576. X equals 32. It's an 18. So those 3 are if you are solving for pieces of a segment. Okay? Are we okay with those? Enough to move to the next ones? Okay. The next ones are going to be if you're solving for angles or arcs. Okay, the pictures look identical, but it's dealing with something else. So, I'm looking for that angle. So the formula is the measure of angle 1. So if you're looking for the angle, you take half of the sum of the arcs. So this arc and this arc. So if the angle is on the inside of the circle, you are going to add the arcs together. Okay? All right, next one. So here we have 2 secants, and I'm looking for that angle. So the measure of angle U is going to be equal to half of the big arc minus the small arc. So if the angle's on the outside of the circle, you're going to subtract the 2 arcs. Okay? And then your last one, which you actually saw on your homework last night, What type of angle is that? It's an inscribed angle because the vertex is on the circle. So just like with any other inscribed angle, you were going to take half of the arc. Are you okay with that? Yes, no, maybe? Yeah? I would start studying them, yes. Any questions?